What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I got some really juicy stuff, some juicy things that I think you guys are gonna love, and it's about one of my employees, and I think you guys will 100% relate to this in one way or another. You might have experienced this before, you might have seen it happen before, or maybe you haven't, and this can be a very huge eye opener for you guys. Here's the thing, and I'll say this: I have personally done something very similar to what this employee did in one way, shape, or form. And it's just funny the way the mind works. And it's interesting how we say we want to do certain things, we say we want to accomplish certain things, and when we get the opportunity to do it, we cannot see, like, we are so blinded, so selfish, so in our ego that we cannot see the opportunities right in front of us when they're about to happen or they are happening. I mentioned this to you guys before, where about 6 weeks ago, I had a closer and a setter. Strictly is all we had. And the closer that was running the offer, he's not as experienced as we would want him to be. He knows the offer very well. He used to be one of our setters. He was a killer setter. But when it came to actually closing, and especially high ticket closing, he didn't have a ton of experience. Like, he's seen the calls, he's been around other high performing closers that we've had, but he hasn't been the guy. Regardless, we gave him the opportunity. I'm like, you've been here long enough, you've been a good setter, so like, we're gonna give you the shot as a closer now that our other closer left, until we find somebody. And if not, like, if you kill it, go for it. So this guy started taking on all the leads that were coming in, and these, keep in mind, these were high quality leads that had the capital, leads that were interested, that were going all the way through the entire funnel and through the entire sales process. And he hasn't quite closed anybody yet. He actually half closed. I say half. One client, the client made a deposit, which we don't actually do anymore, but this client made a 10K deposit, and the full pay is supposed to be 25 grand. They have not made the other 15K payment yet, and we're hoping to cash collect that, I believe, this week or next week. This guy potentially has one deal across the board in over the last 30 days. Now look, this lead that he half closed is actually a lead prior to when he took over as a closer. The old closer had already been handling that lead, and so he pretty much finished the job, which is great. Now, over the past month, he has been taking on a ton of high quality leads that have the money and are interested in doing this. And the marketing's been on point, like I mentioned this to you guys. And so now we're about 3 weeks in, and he has not closed another person yet. In the type of offer that I'm in, it's very high ticket, so the sales cycle is way longer than most sales cycles are when it comes to lower high ticket sell items, right? And I'm talking about $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, like, where people are paying here, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. There's a lot more due diligence that comes into play from a lead, because not anybody, regardless of who you are, is just gonna dump 30 grand anywhere. Like $1,000, like, okay, you can probably get away with it, right? Somebody who's really well off, $1,000 nothing. Even somebody who is not necessarily well off, $1,000, like, although it might be a lot of money, you kind of just like roll with the punches, right? Because you're like, okay, I can still make that money back in about 2 or 3 months, right? If I save my money properly, etc. So it's nothing that extreme, right? So the sales cycle is way faster on something that's $1,000 to $5,000. This closer is right now at a point where he needs to close minimum 1 or 2 deals from all these leads. Regardless, because we haven't closed and we're not sure where it's going to play out, like, there's still potential there. We brought in the new closer that I mentioned to you guys on the other call. Things are kicking off, things are great. This closer is going to get majority of the leads. But here's what's interesting, and I hope you guys are still watching this. Like, I want you to continue finishing this video, because this is the part that is very important. We brought in a third closer. This third closer came in between when closer number 1 started and our new kick-ass closer started. Our new kick-ass closer just started this week. So about 2 weeks ago, this third closer came in. This third closer was like, hey, they're a personal friend of mine. They're like, look, I'm not sure if I want to do this full-time as a closer. I'd rather be in a management position when it comes to sales. But what I can do is I can work here for free for a couple of weeks, kind of get a feel for it, if you're okay with it, and I can train your closer, right? This is the guy that does not have that much experience. And I was like, sure, why not? Like, I trust this person. I know they're a great closer. They have a lot of sales experience. Why not? And so this person's been getting trained. Our quote unquote number 1 closer, who's now not number 1, has been getting trained by this person. And they have been giving us nothing but positive feedback. Closer number 1 has been giving us nothing but positive feedback of like, wow, this person's like showing me so much. I'm getting trained, blah, blah, blah. Regardless, they haven't closed the deal yet, which again, it's a long sales cycle, right? Which again, they could be right now in this time frame in the next 5 to 10 days where they end up closing that 1 or 2 deals. And so regardless, right, we bring in this new kick-ass closer, the very experienced one, because we're like, well, we can't take any chances. If you end up closing these, and that's great, you can jump back into the rotation. I tell the number 1 closer, who was the number 1 closer as of the last few weeks, but not anymore, I'm like, hey, I can't keep around the person that's here training you, because we're not paying a coach. We don't need need to pay a coach. We have a high caliber manager. We have a high caliber closer number one. This person, my friend, is willing to keep coaching you. They say you have the potential. They say they know you can do it. You just need some fine tuning. You need some training, and they're willing to do that. But at the same time, they're willing to do that for me, and because they want to, it's a form of giving back for them. But at the same time, they can only give so much for free. I tell this person, I'm like, the person that's doing the coaching, I'm like, hey, are you open to staying on for a few more weeks and helping this guy close those deals, and you guys split the commission? And I was like, as long as they agree, right? And they were like, yeah, for sure, that would make sense. Like, you know, I'm not attached to getting a salary here. Like, I can keep looking for my own thing. I'm helping you out, and hopefully this closes and I'll make some money there. And I was like, okay, great. So I tell my ex closer number one, hey, so this is what's gonna happen. I tell them about the new closer that we got coming in, who will be the new number one. And I'm like, look, as of right now, you're basically third string, right? Unless you actually can close these deals, like, I can't keep spending more money. So I was like, what if I offer you, what if I can let this person continue training you and you guys split the commission, right? You continue getting additional training. You actually get some money in your pocket, because chances are you might not close this deal. You have a way higher chance of closing this deal if this person is on board with you and finishes training you and gets on the calls with these leads. And he goes like, you know what? I think I'm good. I think I've got enough training, and like, I don't need to continue doing this. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, how delusional. Like, this person is so delusional yet so confident, which is kind of interesting. Like, I love his confidence, but at the same time, I'm like, dude, you have a way higher chance of closing somebody coaching you on the calls and closing together, even if you make half the commission, but you much rather take the risk by yourself and have a way lower chance of actually closing and making $0. And they basically said yes. And I was like, wow. I mean, again, how delusional can you be? And look, if he ends up closing 2 of those deals, I will bite my tongue. I hope he does. I hope he proves me wrong, right? I really do, because at the end of the day, like, we all make money from this. But my whole point that I'm trying to tell you guys here, it's a little bit based on what we talked about on the last video. And it's also based on other factors that you guys might have not noticed in your life, where like, a lot of times we try and do everything by ourselves, right? We much rather have the entire pie. We rather risk having the entire pie and risking that we don't get it at all versus getting at least half of it. Wouldn't you rather have a higher chance of closing a couple of deals and make some commission as opposed to $0 in commission? And on top of that, you keep getting coached and keep getting better. Like, you guys need to be able to see the opportunities that are presented to you at any given moment, at any given second. These opportunities are laid out to us all the time. I miss them all the time. I used to miss them all the time. Even now, I still miss them, right? I ask myself all the time, like, can I be open enough? Can I be willing enough and not be stuck in a selfish place where I think I can handle it all, when I think I can do it all, when I think I don't need anybody's help, and actually realize that I will go way further ahead with help than doing this by myself. You know, you guys get to ask yourselves this question. It's like, where can I do this? Where else in my life am I slowing down to the point where it is debilitating me and not getting me to the goal that I want to accomplish? And now look, I talk about slowing down all the time, right? But there's a big difference between purposely slowing down and look at the entire playing field versus slowing down to try and actually accomplish more with other people. You need to be able to distinguish both of those two things. Those are two completely different things. Is how can you slow down enough to be able to see the playing field, and at the same time, this is kind of funny, you would basically be slowing down in both scenarios right here, right? Can you slow down enough to see the entire playing field that you have an opportunity to be able to go faster by slowing down and working with somebody else? We need to be able to catch these things. Like, this is all pattern recognition. It's pattern recognition, and the greatest of the greats do this all the time. Anybody in any industry, whether it's making money, whether it's in the nonprofit world, whether it's in giving back, whether it's in churches, whether it's in school, whether it's in everything and anything in history, in sports, it's all pattern recognition. So can you catch that pattern recognition within yourself and within other people, and realize that sometimes you have to slow down enough and put your ego aside to have a way better outcome? If you've ever experienced anything like this, like, I would love to hear, you know, your story on how you battled through it, or like what you ended up losing out of it for not recognizing it. You know, I've caught so many different times where I'm just like, damn, I completely dropped the ball on this. Like, what do I need to do differently next time so that I don't drop the ball again? I believe my absolute limit that if you guys catch these patterns, if you slow down enough, you will recognize where and when you're able to shift with people and without people, and be able to move at such a fast pace, and at the same time move slow enough to catch everything that we should be able to catch when we're present to what's happening. That is all I got for you guys today, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.